A Bank Negara Malaysia analyst told the High Court in Najib Razak's 1MDB trial today that two firms controlled by an aide to Low Take Joe, or Joe Low, had remitted £9.45 million to the former Prime Minister in 2014. Adam Arif Roslan said the remitted funds had originated from two loans amounting to $1.225 billion taken out by 1MDB Energy Holdings Ltd, a 1MDB subsidiary, with Deutsche Bank in the same year. Adams said the first loan, amounting to $250 million, was received by 1MDB Energy on May 26, 2014. A second loan of $975 million was made available on September 1 that year, he said. He said that on May 26, 2014, a sum of $175 million, part of the $250 million loan, was transferred to Auber Investments PJS Ltd's bank account in the British Virgin Islands. On June 17, 2014, Auber Investments PJS moved a sum of $19 million to a foreign firm known as Affinity Equity International Partners Ltd. Adams said that 2 days later, a sum of $1.89 million out of the $19 million was transferred to BlackRock Commodities Global Limited based on bank statements, he said. Part of BlackRock Commodities' $1.89 million, or £750,000, was moved to Najib's bank account on the same day. He also said that on September 3 and September 30, 2014, 1MDB Energy transferred $681 million of the $975 million received under a second loan to Auber Investments PJS, a Seychelles entity. Less than 1 month later, on October 16 that year, Auber Investments PJS, Seychelles, moved $226 million from the $681 million to the account of Auber International, a Barbados company. He said, Auber International immediately transferred an almost identical amount of funds, $225 million, to Vista Equity International Partners account. Vista Equity's account was similar to a pass-through account, where funds credited are often utilized in whole or partially for transfers to third parties within a short period of time. Adams said that between October 17 and December 17, 2014, Vista Equity deposited a total of £8.7 million to Najib's account. The prosecution said in its opening statement that BlackRock Commodities and Vista Equity were controlled by Low's aide, Tan Kim Long. Najib is standing trial on 25 charges of abuse of power and money laundering over alleged 1MDB funds amounting to $2.28 billion, deposited into his bank accounts between February 2011 and December 2014. The hearing before Justice Colin Lawrence Sequeira continues. Former Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad briefed the Kedah government yesterday on his economic development plan under the State Government 4 (SG4) coalition. Malay Proclamation Secretariat Chairman Dato Seri Khairuddin Abu Hassan said Dr. Mahathir is committed to continue guiding the state of Kedah as well as 3 other states, Terengganu, Kelantan, and Perlis, to develop them further with his experience. He said, Dr. Mahathir is determined to see the states of Kedah, Terengganu, Kelantan, and Perlis develop on par with other developed states on the west coast of peninsular Malaysia. This is to prove that the SG4 coalition states managed by the Malay leadership can also progress brilliantly, Khairuddin said in the meeting, which lasted more than 2 hours. Dr. Mahathir reminded the leadership of SG4 coalition states to implement leadership transformation, especially fighting corruption, to empower the economy more steadily. He said, various investment plans were also discussed at this early stage to develop the economy of the state of Kedah, including the industrial sector, tourism, agriculture, infrastructure, education, and other fields. In fact, the state of Kedah and the SG4 combined states have very high potential because they are rich in the products of the earth. They just need dynamic governance to achieve these goals. On September 15, the federal opposition coalition Perikatan Nasional chose Mahathir to be the unofficial advisor to the 4 states under its control. Terengganu Menteri Besar Dato Seri Ahmad Samsuri Mokhtar said his counterparts in Kedah, Kelantan, and Perlis were in agreement and would be discussing an action plan for the group. Ahmad Samsuri, who is also PA vice president, said in a statement on September 11 that all 4 PN state MBs have agreed in principle to form a group for strategic cooperation to focus on economic development and improving public welfare. A Perikatan Nasional MP has urged Anwar Ibrahim's administration to emulate Dr. Mahathir Mohamad and Muhyiddin Yassin in channeling allocations to all opposition MPs without conditions or negotiations. Ahmad Fadli Shari said Muhyiddin, who is also the PN chairman, distributed 300,000 ringgit to all representatives to prepare food baskets when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. He said Mahathir also announced an allocation of 100,000 ringgit to opposition MPs for the running of their service centers in 2018. He said the Mentaris Besar of PN-led states gave the opposition allocations without consultation. Anwar had, when winding up the debate on the 12th Malaysia Plan mid-term review on Tuesday, slammed the opposition for demanding allocations but refusing to discuss the matter with the government. Yesterday, Deputy Prime Minister Fadila Yusof also said the opposition MPs have yet to submit a request for allocations despite the government's invitation. They have not sent their request letters so far. However, Hubang Kirian MP Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man claimed that PN Chief Whip Taqiyuddin Hassan had consulted with Fadila. Tuan Ibrahim, who is also the PAS Deputy President, gave an assurance that if PN MPs are given allocations, they will follow the expenditure procedures, including making a complete report. Meanwhile, Bersatu's Masjid Tanah MP, Masar Miyati Samsudin, said she felt Anwar's statement calling the opposition arrogant was irrational, given the discussion held with Fadila. She said, "That's why I don't understand why there is still no allocation for the opposition." Makhang MP Wan Ahmad Faisal Wan Ahmad Kamal reminded PH of its promise in 2022 to provide equitable constituency development funds to all MPs. He said, "Distributing the allocations to anyone else but the MPs does not solve the people's problems, because these non-elected individuals are not held accountable by the Rakyat. For example, the district officials who get these allocations are not who the people look to or had voted for. We were voted in, and the people look for us 24 hours a day." UMNO Youth Chief Dr. Akmal Saleh has urged the government to revive former Prime Minister Najib Razak's Kedai Rakyat One Malaysia, KRIM, initiative. Akmal said many people had ridiculed and even insulted Najib, who was the driving force behind the establishment of such grocery stores in the past. He said, "Today, many have come to realize that these establishments are the ideal choice for the people in Malaysia." Hopefully, the current administration will reintroduce similar outlets, catering exclusively to the needs of Malaysians. The KRIM project was launched in 2011 during Najib's administration with the purpose of allowing the low-income group to obtain cheaper groceries. Initially, Muhyiddin had taken part in the government program, but withdrew its involvement in August 2017. Its managing director, Amir Ali Muhyiddin, had said the hypermarket chain suffered losses amounting to 100 million ringgit by taking part in the KRIM project. He said the government did not subsidize the cost of items but only provided the premises and shelves. All expenses related to shipping items to East Malaysia, operational costs, and incurred losses were borne by Muhyiddin. Najib later attempted to revamp the project with Tunas Manja Group, but no new stores were opened. MUDA President Syed Sadiq Syed Abdul Rahman will know on November 9 whether he will be acquitted or convicted on corruption charges relating to Bersatu Youth funds. According to the Judicial Department's online system today, High Court Judge Dato Azza Abdul Hamid will deliver his verdict 6 months after the defense wrapped up their case. Lead prosecutor Dato Wan Shaharuddin Wan Ladin confirmed this when contacted today. On April 11, Azza reserved his judgment after hearing submissions from both parties at the end of the defense case. Azza said he would inform both parties when he was ready to deliver his verdict. He said, "Do not worry, I will not take long. My officer will inform both parties when the ruling is ready," The prosecution argued that the former minister had malicious intent and abused his friend's trust when he instructed Bersatu Assistant Treasurer Rafiq Hakim Razali to withdraw Rs1 million from Armada's bank account. However, SADC's lead counsel Gobind Singh Deo argued that the withdrawn money was meant for organizing activities which coincided with the party's goals as well as to fight for social justice and safeguard the people's welfare. Gobind also submitted that Syed SADC's charge under Section 405 of the Penal Code for abetting Rafiq in criminal breach of trust involving the Rs1 million in funds should be demolished, as the charge sheet explicitly states that Rafiq had acted dishonestly. However, he said, the prosecution had not proffered any argument to suggest Rafiq had acted dishonestly, nor challenged any evidence that supported the facts that Rafiq was not dishonest in withdrawing and utilizing the funds for the people's welfare that constituted misappropriation. Former Prime Minister Muhyiddin gave a statement to the police again today, this time over an allegation he made on the campaign trail for the Simpang Jaram by-election. Campaigning at Asrama on September 3, the Perikatan Nasional chairman allegedly claimed that the Malays have lost power. Bukit Aman Criminal Investigation Department Director Shuhaili Zain confirmed that the Bersatu president and Pago MP had his statement recorded this morning. Muhyiddin reportedly arrived at the Malaysian Investment Development Authority's (MIDA) office in Kuala Lumpur at about 9:15 a.m. to give his statement. Investigations against him are being conducted by the Classified Crime Investigation Unit under Section 4A of the Election Offences Act and Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. Previously, Deputy Inspector General of Police Ayub Khan Maidan Piche said there were 2 investigation papers opened against Muhyiddin following statements he made on fatwas and the Malays losing power. Muhyiddin had given a statement to the police last week. Thank you.